Today is Friday, April 10th, 2026. Time is 8:31 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Calling Commander Brian Cousineau.
Transit, please come up, Cousineau.
Oh, hi. Commander, this is Francisco. We had a...
Hey,
Hi.
yeah, thanks for calling me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Yes, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah, do you prefer Francisco or Mr. Soto?
You can call me Francisco. You can call me...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Francisco, I've been assigned to look into this matter that you brought to the attention of the board. Just want to let you know that I have reviewed your cell phone video. I've also reviewed the body-worn camera footage from the officers that were on scene. And so I kind of want to get your perspective because during the board meeting, you had made some allegations that there's like police brutality, reference this incident, and that the officers had pepper sprayed the individual that you were filming. So I kind of want to talk to you about that specifically.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to interrupt you, but I kind of remember what I said. No, I don't remember too much of what I said, but I got the body cam footage, and I know the officers didn't pepper spray him, but I do have some issues with how they handled the incident. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, that's understandable. Yeah, don't. If you have something to say, speak up.
Okay.
It's a little different over the phone, but yeah, if you want to ask questions or you want to clarify something, please do so. So it is good to hear that you reviewed the body cam footage, and I think what you saw is the same thing I saw, that our officers did not pepper spray this individual. Sounds like from his own statement that another individual had pepper sprayed him, not the officers. Would you agree to that?
Yes, I do agree. I agree with that. I agree that there was multiple witnesses, two security guards, one of which got pepper sprayed by the man on the bicycle, the person who assaulted the man they arrested, or detained. I mean, but I mean there was a lot of people around, but some of them jumped on the train, and there was security camera footage. I saw the security camera footage as well.
Okay. So because your cell phone video that you took, at least when it starts, at least the footage that I reviewed from your YouTube page, it shows kind of looks like right when the officers are in the process of handcuffing that individual. Did you see any events before that?
I didn't see any events before that. I'll admit I did make the assumption that the officers pepper sprayed him. Because it's not common that people just pepper spray each other. Usually they assault. It's like usually with another type of weapon or hands. Combat fighting. I just, as soon as that train left, that's when I saw the security guards pushing that man against the wall, and the officer pushing that guy against the wall, handcuffing him. That's what I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And as far as the accusation that the officers had police brutality, I think is what your email had said to our GM CEO Deborah. What did you see that felt to you that there's being police brutality on that individual?
I mean, so I believe that was pretty excessive when they detained him. Like, they didn't need three guys shoving that guy against the wall and bending his arms that far back like that. I mean, even if there was three guys on him, they could have just grabbed his arms and put him behind his back. But like, I didn't like the way that they detained him. And before that, it was obvious this man wasn't the person with pepper spray. I mean, he had a lot of pepper spray on his face, so it's obvious he wasn't the one with pepper spray. It was clear this man was assaulted with somebody with pepper spray. Like I said, there's two security guards who witnesses, and there was, I guess, another employee came forward and said I think they witnessed it. I didn't see him on the security camera footage, but and yeah, it was clear that this guy was not the one with pepper spray at all. It's pretty obvious. And he even stated he didn't have pepper spray. He was pepper sprayed. He he couldn't see.
Right. Yeah. And you said you did get access to the body-worn camera footage of the officers?
Yeah, I got access to the body cam footage. They did redact the man that they detained, his face, and the security guard who was pepper sprayed.
Okay. Well, the only reason why I asked that, Francisco, because on the body-worn camera from Officer Hawkins, who's the first officer, and at the time the only police officer on scene when they handcuffed the individual, he asked that individual as he's climbing up. If you remember this part of the body-worn camera, as that individual is climbing up from off the tracks, he asked that individual something to the effect of, do you have pepper spray? And that individual's response back to that officer, if you remember from the body-worn camera video footage, was yes. So that I think that caused some confusion with that officer because he had responded yes when the officer asked him if he had pepper spray. Do you remember that on the body-worn camera footage?
Okay, so I saw that of the body cam footage. So the guy, he was like disoriented. He said, "Do you have pepper spray?" He jumps up. He says, "Yes." And then he goes, "Where's the pepper spray?" And then when the officer said, "Where's the pepper spray?" the man, he says, "Pepper spray? I don't have no pepper spray." He goes, "I was pepper sprayed." And then he starts yelling and screaming. He goes, "Do you think I would pepper spray myself? Are you insane?" I mean, this is not verbatim, but he's clearly telling the officer, he goes, "I didn't touch nobody. I was pepper sprayed. There's witnesses everywhere." He goes, "My eyes are burning. I can hardly see." He goes, I need to rinse my eyes out with water. Do you have water?"
Right. No, you're correct. I mean, obviously it's not a verbatim account, but it's close enough. I mean, I watched the video myself, and
yeah.
You're correct. So after the officer asked him, "Do you have pepper spray?" he responds, "Yes." And then the officer says something to the effect of, "Where's it at?" or something like that. That's when he starts saying, "I was pepper sprayed." But I guess what I'm trying to get you to hopefully understand is up to that point, again, if you watch the body-worn camera footage, the officer has not investigated what has happened yet. As he walks up, he asks a couple of the security officers, what's going on or something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
And they relay to him basically that, hey, they're still fighting down there, and they kind of point down to the platform. And that officer kind of jogs down to that platform, and that's when he sees that individual climb up the steps. So at that point, again, I'm trying to hopefully get you to understand that that officer had not interviewed anybody yet. He did not understand truly what was going on yet. And so in his mind, this individual says, "Yes, I have pepper spray." To your point, and I agree, watching the body-worn camera footage, he then says, "I was the one pepper sprayed." But again, at that point, the officer has not conducted any investigation yet. He's under the impression that this individual here is, in fact, has the pepper spray. And then we'll fast forward just a few minutes to that body-worn camera footage.
Mm-hmm.
That officer is trying to get him to calm down. Obviously, he's animated.
Yeah.
He's probably in some pain from the pepper spray.
Yeah.
And he's just walking all over the place, and he won't calm down for the officer who's trying to conduct that investigation. Yeah. At one point, the individual basically tells the officer he's leaving. The officer verbally tells him several times, you're detained, you can't leave, or something to that effect. And then at some point, the gentleman basically says, "I'm out of here." That's when the officer says, "No, you're being detained," and he puts it in the handcuffs. But we can talk about the handcuffing part, but does all of that kind of, I'm not saying you have to agree with it or not agree with it, but does all of that at least make sense to what led up to that point?
Okay, so this is like the background information that okay, so there's multiple questions I have here, and multiple, because of how you guys conduct the security of this facility, so I did see that. You know what I mean? I did see those two security officers, the ones who helped with the detainment, tell the officer, the man with pepper spray is over there, or something like that. Something. I'm watching it right now. Like I'm watching it on YouTube. I'm having it on closed captions as I'm talking to you. But they gave him misinformation. Now these guys didn't witness the incident, at least to my knowledge, from the security camera. They didn't witness it. So I have a problem with them giving misinformation to that officer, saying, "Oh, so I think that guy with pepper spray is over there," or something like. I'm not verbatim. That guy with pepper spray is over there. You need to arrest him or something. Okay, so why are these guys giving that misinformation? Okay, I know a call was made on the walkie-talkies from the security officer who witnessed it. She's a hefty woman. And what was said on that call, it should have been, hey, there's a guy who sprayed another man. He's on a bicycle. He's going, southbound at the Union Station. That's what I would say if I was a security guard. So I know he was giving misinformation. The guy was trying to understand what was happening, but I believe that the officer should have said, you know what, you're detained, but we're gonna take you to the medics because you're in pain right now. He's not that much of a threat, obviously, because he can't see. He's in a state of impairment, already. And, we're going to get your eyes flushed out, and we're going to figure out what happened. But the officer when he was walking to the scene, he passed the victim, the security guard who got sprayed. He could have said, hey, who sprayed you, That there was just, everybody was nearby. And the security cameras, and also, do you have a real-time center where you can call somebody up and, hey, in a security camera room or security camera facility where they have control, and be like, hey, review the footage. What's going on? Where did he go? Who, what, where, and why?
Yeah. So let me try to unravel what you said, because you said a lot. So,
I know I said a lot. I'm sorry about that.
No, you don't, Francis. You don't have to apologize. I'm trying to answer all of your questions the best I can. So if I missed something, let me know. But
okay.
So as far as the misinformation, I completely agree. Right. So the security officers, when our officer arrived on scene, they did not provide the most accurate of information. Right. But again, what I focus my investigation on is what did the officer know at the time, and based on the information. Although, again, to your point, they didn't provide the most accurate information that the security officers. The information was provided, that is what he has to act on. As far as his response to the scene, and could he interviewed everybody before he went down there and found out all this information? Here's what I would ask you to think about. Right, the information that he had at the time was that there was two individuals in a physical fight. Okay, and that pepper spray was deployed. So, and then again, when he first got on scene, those security officers said to him something to the effect of that they're still fighting, they're down there, and that's when he kind of started jogging down the platform. So the officer's primary responsibility at that time is not to stop and interview people. His primary responsibility is to protect people, to get to that scene, to stop the fight. To make sure nobody gets injured any further, and that is exactly what he did. He did his job. Let's just play this out a little bit, if you bear with me, Francisco. Had there actually been those two individuals still physically fighting, and he stopped and interviewed those security officers and found out more information about, hey, what exactly happened? What did you see? What did you see? What was said? Who had the pepper spray? Who sprayed who? When people are actively fighting, he would be neglecting his responsibilities as a police officer, which his primary responsibility is to protect people. So hopefully that makes sense to you. That's why he didn't stop and ask further questions. That's when he started jogging down to the end of the platform. Does that kind of make sense to you?
It kind of makes sense. I just want to clarify something. It wasn't a physical altercation. Nobody put hands on each other. From the security camera footage, And from what the security guards, the witnesses said, it was just a verbal. They were yelling at each other. I guess, I don't know, may have been making threats, verbal threats, but nobody physically touched each other. It was the guy came by and he sprayed him from a distance on the bicycle.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. So yes, here's all I'll say. It does not appear that there was any physical contact. If you did you get the surveillance video from the platform video?
Yes, I did.
So there's a I don't remember the exact amount of time, probably a minute or two, where both of them are kind of behind that pillar where his bike is parked. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It might have been very out of sight from the camera.
Okay.
But
well,
I mean, this.
It is.
Okay, go ahead.
It is right because you can't. I could not make out watching that portion of the video what was occurring behind that pillar. Now everything else in view where he came out from behind the pillar, you're absolutely right. There was nothing physical between the two of them. There was the pepper spraying, obviously, but nothing physical. But I can't with all certainty say that nothing physical happened because I can't see what happened behind that pillar. What I will tell you is that it was reported to us that it was a verbal altercation that escalated into a physical altercation. That was the information that the officer had. Yeah,
that's what he was given before he approached the scene. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. As soon as he hears, hey, there's people in a physical altercation, his primary responsibility now is to protect lives, all right, to make sure nobody gets injured further. That is why he started jogging down that platform and didn't stop and ask more questions of those security officers. Does that make sense to you?
I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense, but it's, I mean, that there was another female security guard. She could have, they could have been radioing her and getting specifics. Those other security guards could have been doing that, talking to her while he's approaching the scene. It just, a lot of things could have went, a little better, have been done better.
So here's, and again, I agree with you in the sense that hindsight's always 20/20. No matter what you do in life, right? You always think back, even in your profession. I'm sure there's things that you can think about that, hey, I should have done this better. I should have done this differently, right?
Yeah.
It's always 20/20. That's why they have the saying, hindsight's 20/20. What I would say though is, again, when I do my investigation, this internal affairs investigation, I can't sit there and say, well, this should have happened or this shouldn't have happened or whatever. I have to focus on what information did the officer have at that time, and then how did they act with that information? And then with that information, did they act within accordance of our policies and procedures, or did they violate one of our policy and procedures?
Yeah.
The other component of this, it's not necessarily a violation of policy and procedure, but we also do look at, are there opportunities to improve our training? And this is kind of what I think you're kind of getting at, is there's opportunities for us to get with Allied Security and say, hey, look, in the future, could you offer more clarification to the officers that are responding so they know how to act on this situation versus just parts of information or misinformation. So there's a training component that I can assure you will be addressed out of this internal affairs investigation. But as far as the officer's conduct, everything leading up to the arrest that I've looked at, from your cell phone video and everything else, I think was appropriate. So the arrest part, we can talk about that because it sounds like from what you're describing to me is that is the kind of the bulk of what you had a problem with because you felt that and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if I can capture what you had said earlier, that two security officers and our police officer shoving him against the wall, and I believe you said he bent his arm up or something like that, and you felt that was not necessary.
I do not feel that was necessary. I feel that it was common sense that this man was not the person who had pepper spray. I mean, I mean, okay, so if this officer said, "Hey, these two guys are fighting. One of them pepper sprayed a security guard and another person," this guy was obviously not it. He was not. It was, to me, it was pretty common sense. Whether I was given disinformation, even though, like, I'm putting myself in the officer's shoes. If I was given disinformation, I'd be like, this guy's definitely not the one with pepper spray, or I doubt he's the one who was assaulting, somebody. I would be more sympathetic. I'd be like, hey, we need to help this guy. Hey man, you need to get attention now, because he wasn't a threat. I don't think this man was a threat to anybody. Like, it just didn't appear to me he wasn't a threat.
Right. Well, and Francisco, you said that, to you, it's common sense that he was not the one who had pepper spray, but, I want to kind of take you back to what we discussed a few minutes ago when I had challenged you to think about the officer's perception where when this individual was climbing up off the tracks and the officer asked him, "Do you have pepper spray?" and he said yes. So again, try to, and this is the hard part about what I do sometimes, and it's probably difficult for you because, I have everything in front of me, so I have the full investigation in front of me. I have all the videotapes and everything, and so I know the outcome. But what I have to try to do, and it's difficult for me at times, and I would challenge you to try to do it. It is difficult, though, is to remove the knowledge that you have of the outcome and look at it at that time. So when that guy comes off the tracks, at that time, that officer felt, hey, this guy is the one with the pepper spray because I asked him and he told me he was.
Yeah.
So, saying that is common sense, I don't think that's a fair statement for this officer because in his mind, he asked the guy and the guy said yes. So I would not say that that's a common sense argument that this guy was not the one with the pepper spray.
Okay, so but I'm saying after because this guy was disoriented. Mentally he wasn't thinking because he was in shock. He got sprayed. So, but after he heard it again, he clarified with the officer. He's yelling and screaming, "I don't have pepper spray. I don't have pepper spray. I was sprayed. I didn't touch nobody." And then the officer could have turned around because the one who gave him the disinformation helped him with the detainment. He could have turned around and said, "Hey, did you physically see this guy pepper spray somebody?" He could have verified, "Hey, were you a witness? Did you physically see this?" Like, if the guy who gave the misinformation and probably appeared to be a witness, or the officer probably assumed that security guard to be a witness, he could have clarified that information. And that security guard, I'm pretty sure, would say, "Oh, I didn't see what happened. I just heard, I just hearsay." So that he had those officers who gave him the misinformation nearby. He could have turned around and said, hey man, did you personally see this guy? He never once asked those officers, those security guards, the ones in the high-vis jackets, if they personally had seen it. The ones who gave him the misinformation. And those, if those security guards did see the incident, they would know that guy didn't have pepper spray and he wasn't the aggressor. He was.
Right. Yeah. And so again, what I would offer you is that the officer's attention at that moment was on that gentleman who was pepper sprayed, right? For him to take his attention off, because again, you watched the videotapes of this.
Yeah.
He was very erratic, rightfully so. Like I've been pepper sprayed before. It's not pleasant, so I can empathize with that individual, right?
Yeah.
But he was very erratic. He was verbally yelling at the officer. He was pacing about on that platform. And so again, you said, hey, I'll put myself in the officer's shoes. I really want you to try in this situation is that from an officer safety standpoint, again, yes, he's saying, hey, I was the one who was pepper sprayed. But the officer doesn't know that. He does not know for sure because the guy told him initially, I have pepper sprayed. Now he's saying, no, I don't, that I was the one who was pepper sprayed. So for the officer to, basically not focus on that individual and start asking questions of these other security officers at that moment, is not good officer safety practices. I'll be honest with you, had he done that, I probably would have a problem with that, and he wouldn't have been in trouble in the sense that he would have been fired or anything like that, but he definitely would have received some remedial training on officer safety skills, because that's not something we teach our people. We want them to focus on the individual who's in front of them until other police officers get on scene. Once other police officers get on scene, then, and I think you'll see that from the videos, is that when Officer Larkin showed up, he actually walks and talks to Officer Larkin to find out, okay, what did you see? What did you hear? He actually does ask those two security officers in those high-vis vests. If you watch the videos, he asked them, hey, did you witness anything? Because now the individual is detained. He's sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
Officer Hawkins is trying to conduct an investigation to determine what exactly happened, because at that point he still doesn't know. Those two security officers in a high-vis vest who helped put the individual in handcuffs, they both say they don't know. And they point to the female security officer on the other side of the tracks and basically says she's the one who witnessed it, and he yells for her to come over and talk to him.
Okay. This is what I understand. So, but look, I disagree with, he could have been focusing his attention on the man that they detained, but he could have still had talked to the security officers at the same time. Now, and then the thing I also have a problem with is that the security guards didn't speak up, and they didn't think, and they didn't have common sense to say, wait a second, hey, wait, maybe he didn't have pepper spray. We didn't see. They didn't come out and confess during the detainment or during with Officer Hawkins that they didn't see anything, or before they detained him, like, hey, wait a second, we didn't see anything, we just heard. You know, Hawkins could have just said, hey, we're just gonna detain you, we're not gonna handcuff you, we're gonna radio in and see what happened, because they had two witnesses, female security officers who saw everything. But anyways, I wanna move on to another issue with Hawkins, because I mean there's plain evidence that he lied on his police report, and he clearly stated on his police report that the man did not tell him if not, I don't know, this ain't verbatim, I could pull it up right now on my website, but he didn't say, let me see, I have a picture of it, hold on one moment, let me see, here it is, yeah, okay, so this is what Officer Hawkins put on his police report. He said, I asked multiple times if he had pepper spray, but he didn't give me an answer and was yelling. Stated he was sprayed with pepper spray and wanted water. So now this is a lie, because he told him multiple times, I don't have pepper spray. I don't have pepper spray. I was pepper sprayed. So Officer Hawkins obviously felt that he would get in trouble, or he did something wrong if he had to lie on his police report. So this is the issue. That's one issue I have really with Officer Hawkins is he wasn't truthful on his police reports. And then also he appeared to turn off his body cam. I'm not saying he did or did not, but his body camera went off during the detainment. So I don't know if that was because he was pushing up, or the guy accidentally hit the body camera, or he turned it off. But his body camera went off during that detainment. I had the cell phone footage of that most of that detainment.
Yeah, so as far as the body worn camera footage, you're absolutely right. So it would appear to me when I watched it that when he was handcuffing that individual, the body-worn camera that he has on him was pressed up against the individual, and it was inadvertently turned off. What I'll say is that as far as video evidence is concerned, there's 22 seconds of video evidence that we don't have between the body-worn camera inadvertently being turned off and when Officer Hawkins realizes it and he turns it back on. So there's 22 seconds of video evidence that was not captured because of that. In my review, I mean, the good thing, I guess, is that you were there recording with your cell phone. So that 22 seconds of video that we don't have, you actually have for us. And I appreciate that because I was able to review your your cell phone video during that 22-second period to see, okay, is there something in that 22 seconds that's missing as far as the internal affairs investigation, the allegations, I guess I should say, for the internal affairs investigation. We also have the surveillance camera footage from the platform. And again, watching that in combination with your cell phone video, I mean, I'm satisfied that there was nothing exculpatory during that 22 seconds. And again, I truly believe, based on what I watched, is that it was completely inadvertent when he was pressed up against that individual getting him handcuffed. If you watch did you get both of his body-worn camera videos?
Yeah, I got both of them. I mean,
if you watch the second one, he actually, it's kind of muted part of it, but he says something about my body cam being off, and you can see his hand motion up, and he turns it back on.
Correct.
Because I don't think that he even knew it was off until he went and started talking to that security officer, and then he turns it back on. But yeah, it's 22 seconds of video that's missing. So there's that part of it. As far as I'm trying to pull up his report right now, so if you want to give me a second.
Yeah, I'll give you a second. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I got time. It's okay.
I assume you're talking about the second paragraph where Officer Hawkins writes in his report, I asked Mr. Stunkin multiple times if he had pepper spray, but he didn't give me an answer and was yelling. Mr. Stunkin said he was sprayed with pepper spray and wanted water.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
Okay. And then he goes on to say, I asked if he needed medical attention, but he declined. So here's what I'll do. I'll go back and watch the body worn. I know he does ask at least one time if Mr. Duncan had pepper spray. I'll go back and watch that and see if it was in fact multiple times that he was asked that, or if it was the one time. And then where he says he didn't give me an answer, was yelling. I mean, obviously you and I know that based on a body worn camera footage, that he did get an answer. He was told yes that he did have pepper spray. Right?
That was the first time he asked him, but the guy was disoriented. But after the guy kind of got to his senses, he kept telling that Officer Hawkins, that I do not have pepper spray. You think I pepper sprayed myself? Are you insane? He goes, I don't have pepper spray. I didn't pepper spray nobody. I was the one who was pepper sprayed. He states that if you go back and watch the video, I'm making the assumption you only watched it one time, but I've watched this video multiple times because I've edited it and put it on YouTube and other platforms. But this guy says it clearly, yelling. Of course, he was yelling at him, so it's not like Officer Hawkins didn't hear him. But he tells him, I don't have pepper spray. I do not have pepper spray.
Right. No, he does. And like I said, I watched it. I watched the footage. But again, I'd go back to, at that moment in time, right?
Okay.
Officer Hawk was under the belief that he did have pepper spray, even though this guy later on said multiple times, I didn't pepper spray myself. I don't have pepper spray. I was the one who was pepper sprayed, right?
Yeah.
But he was also told that he did have pepper spray. So, again, I think there's this confusion based on his initial response, and I get it. The guy's in pain. He's disoriented. I absolutely get it. Right. But his responses, I think, is what led to Officer Hawkins' initial confusion until he was able to do an investigation. So
okay.
I want to get back to the point of the handcuffing, because it sounds like, again, from what you had said, is that in and of itself was where you feel that there was an inappropriate amount of force being used.
Yes, agree.
Okay. So I have watched the body-worn camera footage of that incident. I've watched. It's difficult to tell because I believe you said something to the effect of that they shoved him against the wall and then they pulled his arms up.
Yeah, his arms were locked, too.
Okay. So I'll go back and watch the video. I did not see that point of view on the body-worn camera. What I will say is that when Officer Hawkins gets really close to him, it is difficult to see, as I'm sure you've seen in that video, because that's where the camera is inadvertently turned off. Yeah. But I'll go back and watch the platform video, and I'll even take a look at the first part of your cell phone video to see if I can see that. I did not see that the first time I watched it, but I'll do my due diligence, Francisco. I'll go back and watch it again to see if I see anything to where they're, raising his arms higher than they should or anything like that. Okay.
Okay. I want to know what rank is Officer Hawkins and what was his date of hire for the department?
Well, he's a police officer, so he doesn't have any rank.
So he's like considered a rookie. Is that what he's considered? I don't know the terminology, but.
I don't know if I would call him a rookie. I mean, I guess calling somebody as a rookie is subjective, right? I mean, you have police officers that have been police officers 30 years, and if you haven't been a cop for 5 or 10 years, you're a rookie, right? Uh-huh. You have other police officers who have been police officers for 5 or 10 years, and they only call somebody a rookie if they've been only a police officer for a year. So it's very subjective.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, he is a sworn police officer. He does hold a Colorado Post certification as a police officer. His exact date of hire, I don't have that information. That's something you'd have to get through HR to find out what his exact date of hire is. I don't keep those type of records.
Okay. According to online on the website, it's December 2023. December 2023. Okay. And then I'm just saying in general, I'm not talking about Officer Hawkins, but I want to know, because you're internal affairs, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay, because it doesn't show that on the web. It just says your commander, and I think it's administrative or something. I don't know what I think it says on the website. Yeah, it just says administrative. Commander Brian, administrative. That's all it says.
Yeah, so, either I haven't looked at the website of what my descriptors say in a while. It's either going to say administrative commander or it's going to say professional services commander. They're kind of interchangeable terms. But as part of my role, I have a lot of different hats, but one of them that I wear is internal affairs.
Okay, internal affairs. Got it. Okay. I read that 100 police officers were hired. RTD police officers were hired. Are they active currently?
Well, so I guess my question is, I'm not sure what you're asking as far as 100 police officers are hired.
Yeah, I don't have documents in front of me. I just heard, I watched something on the news briefly. I think it was in late 2025, something about 100 police officers being hired, additional officers for RTD. So I just wanted to confirm that.
What I can tell you is that we have about 100 sworn police officers that are currently working for transit police. Okay. So yes, all of those have been hired here, but that some of them have been here for a number of years. Some of them have been here for 6 months or a year. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not quite sure what you're asking me, but as far as how many total sworn police officers we have within our agency right now, we are over 100. Yes.
Active means I'm trying. When I say active, I mean like working in the field, being able to make an arrest. You know what I mean? Not in training. That's what I'm trying to say. Officers who are not in training, who are active in the field.
Correct. So, as you and I are speaking today on the phone, we have 102 sworn police officers in our organization.
Okay, exactly. 102. Okay, exactly. Also, how many of those are female officers?
I don't have that information in front of me. I'd have to go through our roster and literally hand count them. I don't know exactly how many off the top of my head.
Okay. That means not a lot if there was, or none if there was.
No. We have quite a few actually.
Okay.
It's Chief Fitzgerald when he was here. I don't know if you ever heard of the 30 by 30 initiative, but he was a strong proponent in a 30 by 30, and so we have placed an emphasis on hiring minority and female officers.
Okay. Understand. Yeah, I just have not. I haven't seen any on your website. Pictures of any on your website, or I've never seen any in person. So that's why I'm like. And then the CEO just did a video about like women's rights and all that. So I'm like, well, why isn't there a lot of female officers or any that I have seen?
Yeah, we actually have quite a bit. I'm sure you can probably do a core request and give the exact breakdown of how many are female and stuff like that if you really wanted to know. But we have quite a few.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. So should I just do roster? If I do a core request, just be like core roster, I guess, gender or something?
Yeah, I guess, Francisco, whatever information you're looking for. So if you're looking for, hey, how many total sworn officers you have, and then I already told you I had 102, but out of those, how many are female officers? Out of those, out of the 102, how many are minority? I mean, it's really truly up to you and what type of information you're looking for.
Okay. And then the other question I have is, and this is just in general. This isn't specifically referring to anybody, but under your authority and policy, what are the consequences if a police officer is found to be not truthful on a police report or intentionally lies on a police report? What are the consequences?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're familiar with Senate Bill 217, that was passed in Colorado post George Floyd incident. We have very strict laws in Colorado and rules when it comes to untruthfulness. So if it's determined through the course of an internal affairs investigation that any officer, and that's from the chief of police all the way down to the brand new officer out of the police academy, right? Doesn't matter what rank you are or how long you've been a police officer. If you're determined to be untruthful during an internal affairs investigation, then we're actually mandated by the state of Colorado to report that to the post board for Colorado, and that person will have their post certification revoked, which means they cannot be a police officer for any agency in the state of Colorado. There are some subtle nuances. They can appeal that through the Colorado Post Board and stuff like that. But the long and short of it is if you're found to be untruthful, because of Senate Bill 217, you will have your post certification revoked.
Post certification, so that means it's basically I'm gonna just generalize this like a law enforcement what is it called, license or something like that, like because I've never heard this terminology before, but I guess it would be you couldn't be a law enforcement officer in the state of Colorado if you got it revoked.
Yeah, Frank. Oh yeah, if you want to just Google post like Colorado Post POST. Okay. It'll take you to the Colorado Post law enforcement website. And on that website, it explains everything about like how to get certified, what are some automatic disqualifiers from being a police officer. There's also a couple tabs on there that you can actually search officers by name, and it'll tell you, are they certified, are they not certified. There's even a tab on there, and I can't remember the title of the tab, but it'll even tell you if the officer was terminated for cause, if they were terminated for untruthfulness, stuff like that. So there's a wealth of information. So it's Colorado Post POST. That's where you can get a lot of this information I'm talking about on there. Yeah. But to answer your question, so to be a certified police officer in the state of Colorado, you have to go through a accredited police academy. You have to pass all the tests they put in front of you, and then you are certified through Colorado Post to be a police officer. Without that certification, you cannot be a police officer anywhere in the state of Colorado. If you, and this is why it's important with that Senate Bill 217, because if you are found untruthful during an internal affairs investigation, your certification will be revoked. Again, there are some nuances, like I said before, you can appeal that and stuff like that, but if that were to happen, if your license is revoked, then you cannot be a police officer for transit police or any other agency in Colorado.
Okay, wow. I didn't know that, but that is really good information. Thank you for giving that to me. I'm gonna definitely look that up online because, yeah, I'm new to Colorado, so I want to look that up. Okay. Also, okay, I have another question. So, is there a real-time access center for the security cameras? Like, is it?
So we don't have I guess, I think what you're trying to refer to is like a lot of agencies in this day and age of police are going to real-time crime centers. Is that what you're asking about?
Correct. I'll give you an example. So I used to work not directly for the public transportation in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but they had basically a room where they had a bunch of security cameras, and they had live stream, and then they had like GPS locations of all the buses. So it's like you could see everything real time,
Yeah, so here's what I'll say is that, do we have the ability to do that? Yes.
Yes, you do have the ability? Okay.
Yes. Do we staff like I think what you're referring to, at least what you described sounds to me, is what is called a real-time crime center.
Correct. I think Aurora has it, right? And Denver, maybe.
We don't have a real-time crime center here, but we do have the ability to do live feeds on our buses, our trains, the commuter rail platforms. We do have the ability to do live feed on those. We just don't have a center where people, that's all they do is watch video and live stream and stuff. We don't have people that is their sole job.
Okay, understand. Handcuff, appear terminate. Okay, I just have one more question. I don't want to get into detail about this, but was that last police chief the one who got fired? Did he get his what is it called, that his license revoked, or the what is it called, the post? Is he on that website?
Yeah, unfortunately, Francisco, I can't really talk about his situation at all with you.
Oh, wow. So that's wow. You can't talk about it at all. Like, you can't even. Wow. Okay. That is. But I'll search his name on that website and see what I can find. Okay. I think that's all.
Any other questions for me? References in internal affairs investigation, Francisco?
So if I wanted to submit another complaint, how would I do so?
Well, if you want to, like, another internal affairs complaint?
Yeah, about another incident.
Yep. So on the website, the RTD website, it might email. Oh, actually, you have my email.
I have your email.
Okay. I've been emailing each other, right? So if you want to file an internal affairs complaint on an officer in this organization, you can just email me your complaint.
Okay, I'll email you the complaint. And then I do. There's a security guard. I want to actually what is it called? Give a what is it called? Like he did something good. I really want to.
Yeah. So let me interrupt you real quick. So if it's, and I just want to make sure you understand this. If it's a complaint on a police officer with transit police, those come to me.
Okay.
Right? You can email those complaints to me.
Okay.
If you're wanting to complain on something that Allied Security did?
No. I don't want to complain. I want to say he did something really good. Like I really think he de-escalated a situation between two individuals. You know, I thank this man. I thanked him, and I think he should be. You know what I mean? He should be known for it. And I put the video on my YouTube channel. It's like one of my first videos. But the way he de-escalated the situation, these two guys were threatening each other. One of them was threatening to pull out a gun and shoot the guy. But the way he came up and de-escalated the situation, you know, I really thank the guy. I should have got his name. But I think if you watch the video, you can find out who he is. But
as far as commending them,
yeah.
I appreciate you doing that. The more positive reinforcement we can get for folks, the better. So there's two ways of doing that. The best way is just to get a hold of Allied Universal Security themselves, because they will know their people. And if you send them the clip of the video and say, hey, I didn't get this officer's name, but I want to recognize him. Here's the clip of the video, blah blah blah. They can find out who he is and get that information to his supervisor to recognize him. Yeah. So that's probably the best way. If you have trouble doing that or whatever, you can always send it to me, Francisco.
Yeah.
And then what I will do, I will just forward it to Allied supervisors. But the best way is to contact them directly. But if you have difficulty doing that, you can just send it to me. I'll take care of it.
I mean, I want RTD to recognize this guy, because I think he's going above and beyond. And the security guards probably don't get enough recognition that they should, because I see security guards. I only see security guards on the trains. I've only seen, I think, a police officer. Well, except for recently, I've only seen a police officer on the A line, but on the R line, I never saw police officers until I think less than a month ago. Late last month, I saw a bunch of police officers on the R line. But I mean, most of the time you only see security. You don't see police on the train. So, but I mean, I think RTD should really look into this guy and commend him for his how he conducts himself.
Right. Well, then just send it to me.
I'll send it to you. Okay.
I'm sure that I communicate that out to him and also to his supervisor at Allied.
Okay. Thank you I'll definitely do that. Thank you for.
Send me two separate emails so I don't get them mixed up. Send me one email on the internal affairs complaint that you want to make. Yeah. And then send me the second one with the link to that video and kind of what you want to recognize him for. Two different emails if you don't mind. Okay,
I'll definitely do that. I'll keep them separate, because it'll just get mixed up, and I don't want that to happen.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your time and talking with me and clarifying a lot of things. Thank you.
All right, take care of yourself, Francisco.
Yep, take care. Have a good day.
Yep, bye.
Bye-bye.